Hello, kindergarten cougars. It's Mrs. Balatash, and I'm back here ready to try to sink some wood. So last week, we got some wood samples and we put them in some water and we noticed that they all float. But if I want the wood to sink, what can I do? How can I get the wood to sink? I'm wondering if there's anything in the bag that we could use to try to sink the wood. So I'm gonna get my bag out and I'm gonna look. I don't wanna touch this, I wanna leave that closed. I don't wanna use the ball. There's some things at the bottom of my bag that I'm gonna dump out. I have a bunch of these paper clips and they're kind of heavy. And I have some rubber bands. I'm wondering if I can use the rubber band and attach the paper clip to the wood. Okay, boys and girls, I'm going to start with the particle board, which I like to call it oatmeal. It looks like oatmeal. And I'm going to take one of my rubber bands and I'm going to put it on, but look, it's too floppy if I do it like that. I'm going to stretch it and twist it and go around again. Oh yeah, I think that might be perfect. If you have a longer rubber band, you might need to twist it again. And now I'm going to take one paper clip and I'm going to put it underneath the rubber band so it'll stay on top. And now I want to test to see if this will help my wood sink. Okay, so I have my water and I have my wood and I have one paper clip. And I'm going to see if it sinks now. Nope, didn't sink. I wonder if there's anything I could do. Hey, I'm going to add some more paper clips. I'm just going to add one more paper clip. I'm just going to add one and see if that will do it. One more paper clip. No. I'm going to add two more paper clips. Two more. Okay. Ooh, it looks like it's getting a little lower, but it's still not sinking. I'm going to add two more paper clips. It sank for a minute, but then it came back up. I'm going to add two more paper clips. I wonder if I take one paper clip away, if it will still sink. I'm going to take one paper clip away. It's still sinking. It looks like it wants to float, but it's still at the bottom. Okay, I want to count how many paper clips it took to sink the particle board. So there's one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It took 7 big paper clips to sink the particle board. Okay, boys and girls, I want to know if it will take 7 paper clips to sink this wood, the pine wood. So I'm going to get the rubber band, twist it around, and I'm going to put 7 paper clips on my wood and see if it takes 7 paper clips to sink my pine. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, here we go. Wow, this is really different. The particle board sank with 7 paper clips. The pine is floating with 7 paper clips. We can compare them. The wood, the particle board, sinks faster. Okay, I'm going to add more paper clips. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 paper clips. Okay, it sank a little bit, but it's still floating. Let's add some more paper clips. 11, 12, 13. I'm going to try putting in 15. 14. Oh, it's getting tricky. 15. Okay, I'm going to put in 15 paper clips and see if it sinks. Okay, it sank with 15 paper clips, but it might be less. I'm going to take 1 away. I'm going to take another 1 away. Oh, it's not really sinking. So I'm going to add 1 back. Do you see how scientists check back and forth? They really are careful. Yes. Okay, let's see how many that is. Oh! So this is with the pine wood. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 paper clips. It took 14 paper clips to sink the pine. I think this is so much fun trying to find out another property of the wood. We talked about the color, we talked about the texture, but how many paper clips it takes to sink is another property of the wood. Okay, I'm going to try the plywood this time. I'm going to get the rubber band. And I'm wondering if it's going to be similar to the particle board or similar to the pine. I think because it doesn't grow naturally on a tree, it's made, I think it's going to be more like the particle board. So I have put 4 on so far. I'm going to put 5. This is 6. And I'm going to put 1 more, which is 7. I'm going to predict that it's going to take the same number to sink the plywood. Here we go. Ah! The plywood is floating with 7 paper clips. I'm going to add some more. Sometimes my predictions are not correct, and that's okay. Then you can start doing some science and trying to figure out why your prediction was wrong. Okay, here we go. Ooh, it's almost ready. I'm going to put 1 more paper clip on my plywood. I predict that this one will sink. Yes! Fantastic. Oh! Maybe I should put 1 more paper clip. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Boom! And it sinks down. Okay, now I need to know how many paper clips it took. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 paper clips. It took 12 paper clips to sink the plywood. Boys and girls, sometimes it is easier for me to understand things when I look at a graph of the information. So we did an experiment. We looked at 3 types of wood. Particle board, which is over here on the left. The middle one is pine, and the one on the right is plywood. It's the stripy one. And I wanted to know, well, which one could float the best and which one sinks the easiest. So I added paper clips to each one. By looking at this graph, can you tell me which one is the easiest to sink? Yeah, it's the particle board. Which one is the hardest to sink? It's the pine. And so if I wanted to build a boat and I wanted it to hold a lot of people, should I make my boat out of particle board or should I make my boat out of pine? Okay, so boys and girls, I did this in the science lab. Take your wood samples and will you do this in your kitchen sink? Check and make sure it's okay with your mom and dad first. But we also have 2 more types of wood that we have not tested. So I tested the plywood, the pine, and the particle board. But there are still 2 types of wood, the basswood and the redwood or the cedar. Both of them need to be tested. Will you please use a rubber band, test to see how many paper clips it will take to sink that wood. Okay, boys and girls, I want to make sure that you get out your science notebook and we're going to do a little work in it first. I'm going to put my name, Mrs. B, and I'm going to put the date. The date for me today is 9/8/2020. That's not the date that you're going to be doing it, so put the date that you're doing it. And the first question is, how can you sink wood? How did we sink wood? What did we do? We added some paper clips, right? And a paper clip adds extra weight. So I'm going to draw a picture of a piece of wood and I'm going to put a rubber band around it and I'm going to put a paper clip. And I'm going to draw a couple of those. And I'm going to say, I can add weight. Okay, here's my drawing of the wood with the rubber band and a paper clip. And I wrote, I can add weight. I can add weight. I have a capital at the beginning of the sentence and I end with a punctuation mark. The second question is, how many passengers will a wood raft hold? Well, boys and girls, they didn't tell us what kind of wood. I'm going to choose pine because when I tested pine, it held 14 passengers. I'm going to pretend that a paperclip is a passenger. So I'm going to write pine holds 14. And that's what I'm going to do. Pine holds 14. Okay, I'm looking forward to doing some more fun science with you guys next week. See you later.